Hey, what is up, my fearless networking friends? Todd Falcone here. Welcome back to another episode. In today's episode, I want to just have a chat with you about this whole concept of, what do you do when you're like ready to throw in the towel, right? When you're ready to give up. I think for sure there are a lot of people in this profession that do give up, right? Think about the numbers of people that come into network marketing, capable people that have the ability to do what we do here, yet they give up and they walk away and they quit and never look back, unfortunately, in some cases. So what happens? Okay, so what causes you to have the feeling that you're ready to give up? Well, how does that occur, right? So all right, so here I am. I get involved in this network marketing business. I'm excited about the possibility of changing my life and my future and earning more money and having freedom and all the things that can potentially happen for you if you're successful in network marketing and you found this new avenue to pursue, and you're seeing this light at the end of the tunnel, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's not actually a train coming at me. It's the end of the tunnel. I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and you're so excited about this business, and you start this journey. And as you go along this journey, maybe things don't happen for you the way that you expected them to happen for you, right? So expectations that you put upon yourself, and sometimes unrealistic expectations, can certainly lead to that level of frustration and discouragement that may cause you to then, throw in the towel and say, I just give up. I give up, right? And, some of you know my story that have followed me for a long time. I've been in the profession for over 30 years. My first, 18 months, I had very little, if anything, to show for my involvement in network marketing. And, most people, I think, probably would have quit and thrown in the towel if they had the same kind of experience that I did during my first couple of years in network marketing, yet, hey, I'm still here. Why didn't I throw in the towel? I mean, that's a legitimate question, right? So I'll tell you my personal reasons why I didn't throw in the towel, and then we can kind of look at your situation. But, when I first looked at network marketing the very first time, I came in with a completely clean slate, if you will. I didn't know anything about it. I had never had a friend that tried one, an aunt that tried one, and it didn't work for them, if you will. I didn't have any, misconceptions as far as, that only the people at the top make the money, or you got to be in early, otherwise you ain't going to make any money, or, that's one of those things, or whatever, whatever. I didn't have any of that. I came in with a totally clean slate, and what I saw was, I saw the model. The model made sense to me, and I don't think any even halfway intelligent person can come into network marketing, look at the model, and say that doesn't make sense. I mean, it's a brilliant model. I mean, you can come in here for very little money, start a business of your own, work in your own time and your own hours. You can make a profit by creating a retail customer base. You can then build a team and earn a percentage on the efforts of that entire organization. To me, when I first looked at that as a naive 22-year-old kid, that made a lot of sense to me. And it's not like I was this business savvy dude. I was just like, that makes sense. And so I began the journey. And I think, one of the things that I did early on is I drew a line in the sand. I said, I'm going to do this. And, I was hoping that I would create results fast, but I didn't create results fast yet, because I'd made a firm decision that I was going to do it. There was, for me, there was no exit option. There was no other choices for me. And I think a lot of people come into, I know a lot of people come into this profession with kind of a give it a shot attitude. We'll see how it goes. And I don't really think that that's a great recipe for creating any kind of success in network marketing. It requires a commitment. And I think the commitment that I gave myself was, I'm going to do this no matter how long it takes, no matter what it takes. I'm going to do this until I win, until I succeed. And when you do something like that, when you create that kind of like environment for yourself, I believe that because you've eliminated exit options, like the only opportunity for you is to win. You might win today, next month, next year, 2 years from now, or whatever it is, but there's no exit options because it's like I'm going here until I get there. There's nothing that's going to stop me. And so even though I way under-delivered on my own expectations as far as what I thought I'd be making, I stayed in there in spite of it. So I get the, I'm ready to throw in the towel. I think one of the things that you need to do is look at and be really honest. I think being an entrepreneur requires a degree of integrity from within. We have to be real with ourselves and be totally truthful and honest about the efforts and the energies that we put forth into this thing that we're now ready to throw the towel in on, and just ask yourself, look, have I really given this everything that I've got? Have I really like done the what I probably know or the necessary, like you can't be involved in this business for a couple weeks and not understand what it takes to win. Like you've got to be reaching out to people, and you've got to be prospecting, and you've got to be exposing. That's the gateway skill, right? And what I have found is that people will, they'll throw in the towel or they'll give up, but it's like you're giving up on something that you really haven't done. I mean, if you're really honest with yourself, and in fact, like this is something I've said on previous trainings, and this will happen to you for sure. When you have somebody that comes to you on your team and they're like ready to throw in the towel, they're ready to say, look, I'm done. This isn't working for me. My suggestion to you is, maybe this is you, or maybe this is somebody coming to you on your team, is to ask them like, okay, so I get it. I feel you. I certainly don't want to lose you. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have you continue to work with us on the team. But before you go, let me ask you this question. Let's say the person's been in for a year and they're ready to throw in the towel after a year. Like, in fact, if they were in for a year, I would probably ask them, okay, so you've been in for a year, so give me an idea. Like, how many people have you reached out to, exposed this business to, put in front of presentations in your entire tenure here in the 12 months that you've been here? And what you're going to find is that a great majority of those people, when they respond to you, they're going to tell you, in fact, the standard fair answer, some of you guys were probably on a previous training where I said exactly these words, is like, well, not enough, right? So they're discouraged and frustrated and ready to quit, even though they really haven't done anything. So they're, again, mad at the lack of the results from the work they never did. And that's very, very common. So you need to understand that as well when you have people coming to you and they're saying, I'm going to quit. Maybe it's you that's like, dude, I'm ready to throw in the towel, but I'm watching you on this video or I'm on this podcast. And why are you you're ready to throw in the towel? Maybe I'll help you not throw in the towel. I don't know. But I think it's just really, really important for you to be in a state of integrity with yourself and just be honest, man. Just ask yourself, have I really given this everything that I could give it? Have I really focused on the right activities for a long enough period of time in order to, say, I'm done, this just isn't working for me? But that's the place I think you need to start first. Now, granted, there are people that come into the business and they can honestly say, man, in the last 12 months, I've prospected or reached out to 100 people a month for 12 months and I have zero to show for it. And yeah, I could understand why that would be, an area of frustration for you and why you might want to throw in the towel and quit because you're not seeing the results yet you're doing the work. So there's two sides of it. There's people that either aren't doing the work, which is quite frankly a majority of the people that are really, they're done. I'm done, but they really haven't done anything. And then there are people that have done something, maybe done a lot, and not produce the results. In my case, I had done a lot. It wasn't like I wasn't flipping rocks over and exposing and inviting, and yet I hadn't yet seen the result. But I'm still here. I stayed. And why did I stay? I stayed, because I kind of felt like, look, I don't, I could go do something else for sure. I mean, there's always other options, right? I could go get a great job or go do something else, whatever. But I just was looking at the business model. And I thought, man, if it can happen for him, and if it can happen for her, and if it can happen for this person, I'm going to stay long enough for it to happen for me. But I think like when you're in that position where you're ready to throw it in, and like I'm done, I'm going to wave the flag, I surrender, I'm finished. I think that's the place where you need to be in a really high state of integrity with yourself and just be real with you and just really ask yourself, like, look back at your last, 90 days. Look back at your last 6 months or however long it's been, and be real with yourself in terms of, how do you honestly feel that you've given the business all that you could have given it, and given it everything that you've got with what you have at that moment in time, and you can either say, and if you said, yes, man, I have, then okay, fine. Many people are going to say, well, no, the truth is, no, I really haven't. So then why would you quit something that you really haven't given your all to, right? Make sense? And then secondly, if you are that person that did put in all that effort, and we've heard this phrase, very likely, I'm sure most of you have heard the phrase, if not every single one of you. One of the definitions of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, right? So if you were doing the activity, and you were doing the activity repeatedly, and yet the activity that you're doing is not producing a result, does it make any sense to keep banging your head up against the wall and continue to do the activity that isn't producing you a result? I don't think it does. But, so if you keep doing the same thing and you keep, hitting a brick wall and nothing is progressing, you need to move and you need to do something different to see if you can create a different result, right? That goes with anything. If whatever it is that you're doing isn't producing a result, we got to figure out, back up, take a step back, look at the situation. Let's see if we can maybe do something a little bit differently. Because look, network marketing is not for everybody, right? It's not. Let's be honest here, okay? Anybody can get into network marketing because it's, costs pretty much nothing to get in. So anybody can find their way in network marketing. But I don't really believe that network marketing is for every single human being on the planet, because it requires things. It requires, you to be proactive and willing to face your fears, and being able to engage with people in conversation, right, and be able to communicate with people and reach out. And some people are more social creatures than others. But, look, I mean, I've met people that, quite frankly, should not be involved in network marketing. They just don't have the goods. But, there's other people that are involved in network marketing that have everything that I'm a pretty good judge of like figuring out who can do this or not. I'm like, dude, you've got this. And yet sometimes those people don't succeed either. And they don't succeed because they're not doing the work, the right kind of work, or they're doing the work, but maybe they're doing it in a way that's, just it's not working for them. So they've got to back up and then go, okay, well, I've got to maybe do things a little bit differently to see if I can create a result and figure out why I'm not, why what I'm doing is not creating a result, or what can I do differently. And I think some of you that are, if you are in a position where you're ready to, give it up and, be done with it, then, before you do it, I think it's a good idea for you to have a conversation with yourself and just kind of look back and go, well, have I really done the work? Have I done the work for long enough to justify making this kind of a decision? And if you've done the work, maybe, again, so there's just a couple of different angles. Either A, you've done the work, or B, you haven't done the work. If you haven't done the work, there's really no reason for you to be frustrated. I mean, I could understand why you'd be frustrated because you haven't done the work, but you haven't done the work, so you don't really deserve the result, right? But then if you did the work and you think you're deserving of the result, which I could understand that because I was in the same position, well, maybe the way you were working or what you were doing was just either inefficient or not good or just needed changing, and that's when you go upline or to some expert that knows more than you and is better than you, that perhaps can give you some guidance and direction and maybe move you in a slightly different, a different angle to help you get the result. But, modifying your expectations is another thing. I think a lot of people, including myself, when I came into the business, I thought I'd be making 10 grand a month in no time, and I wasn't making 10 grand a month in no time. It took quite a bit of time actually to get to that point. But because I personally looked at the model and what the model of network marketing could ultimately provide for people, because I really felt that I wanted to have free time, no boss, the opportunity for unlimited earnings, and just that the freedom that we can have in this profession. I was like, dude, I'm going to do it until, I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to, if it takes me 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, I'm going to keep going, because I ultimately want what I felt like I saw that network marketing could provide. Even as a brand new person who knew nothing about network marketing, there was something that I saw in that initial look or view of what this business model of network marketing could potentially provide for people, and that was just something that I wanted. I never liked having a boss. Even as a young kid, I never liked having somebody looking over my shoulder telling me what to do. I never liked the concept or the idea of trading time for dollars, or giving myself an hourly rate. This is how much I'm worth. And the fact that we have leverage in network marketing, when I saw that even as a young kid, I was just really excited about, wow, that would be pretty cool to have, what this profession could provide. So I don't know what your deal is, what your situation is currently, but throwing in the towel, I get it. A lot of people do. A lot of people give up. But before you give up, the important thing is you look at and you be truly honest with yourself. Have you given it all that you could? Have you focused on the right activities for a long enough period of time? And if you're really real with yourself, a lot of people will say, no, the truth is I haven't. So why would you quit when you know you haven't really given it everything that you can? And on the other hand, if you have, and you've really said, look, I can be honest with myself, Todd, I've really worked this business hard for an extended period of time, a long enough period of time where I feel like I should have gotten a result. And if you haven't gotten the result, then maybe it's time for you to, instead of quitting, maybe look at what you've been doing and get with somebody who knows more than you and see if you can maybe revise or change the things that you're doing so you can get a better result and ultimately have a much better story to have in your life. So just some thoughts for the day. I don't know where you're catching me, maybe YouTube, perhaps on my podcast, which is beautiful as well. Rest of the story is taking place at toddfalcone.com/episode 114. So if you're on the YouTube channel, if you're on my podcast, please come over. If you've got questions, bring me your questions. If you got comments, love to hear your comments. Happy to help you any way I can. If there's something you want me to talk about or do, I will be more than happy to come back out and do a post for you guys who have specific questions or desires in terms of if you're struggling with something, what are you struggling with? How can I help you? I'd be happy to do a video for you, happy to do a podcast for you. Just let me know. Have an amazing day, and don't quit.